Hi folks, it is so exciting that we're rolling out the Local KPI Dashboard to all of the branches in Qlik. In order to better leverage the capabilities of this cool dashboard, your target input is a critical piece. In this video, we'll briefly go over the general information on the Local KPI Dashboard and provide tips on filling out your target section. You can follow the agenda and jump into the section of your interest. This Local KPI Dashboard is meant to fit into your meeting routine and assist your target tracking. To go on the page, start from the Home sheet. Under the Meetings tab, you will find this fantastic Local KPI Dashboard. Now click in. You can select your branch name, meeting theme, and target granularity. Several things to explain. First, budget is on a monthly level, so when you click daily or weekly, Qlik won't let you select the tab. Only when you select monthly, it is available. Second, when you select last year, comparison will be available only at weekly and monthly level, since it doesn't make sense to compare a Sunday with a Monday under the same date. When you click on the Target tab, the columns will display your branch target, which you'll be filling out in the branch target file. If you go into the DPO Analytics folder and select your branch name under the Targets folder, you should be seeing a branch target file with your branch name and this year. This is the master file that you'll be using to fill out your targets, which will be fed into Qlik. And we're not using the previous Local KPI Excel files anymore. For your clarity, I reorganized each branch folder so your previous target files are now under the archive folder. Now I'll click into the branch target file. Under the Meetings tab, you should be seeing a lot of information. The left part, which is labeled DPO Master Data, is just for your information, and you won't be doing anything with it. Your focus will be columns Y to AI, which corresponding to the area colored in blue. The fields with the filter labels corresponds to the entries in the drop-down menu on the Local KPI dashboard. And when selected, the PIs that have a required label will be displayed. You could customize KPIs to be shown under the Meetings tab. For example, if customer refusal percentage is required by your branch, you can type in critical. And when Qlik is reading the column, it will recognize the label and customer refusal percentage will be read in as an entry in the pivot table on the dashboard. Now let's go to the Targets sheet. This is where you will be put in numbers as your targets. The columns labeled in green are for your reference. You can filter according to your target granularity and action frequency to help with target filling. And if different people are responsible for various KPIs, they could also filter their names and fill out their own parts. Several branches like Canton and Lima started their rollout earlier, and they've gathered a great amount of tips in filling out the target file. It is my honor to invite Hunter Westbrook, who has been helping with the dashboard rollout in the East region, to share her tips for target filling.
Awesome. Thank you so much for the introduction, Susan. So pretty much what I'm going to talk about is getting into the targets file, assigning targets, as well as aligning with your critical KPIs into that targets file, which will eventually feed over into Qlik. My first suggestion for you is to go into your KPI dashboard that's in Excel that you currently use, or go into your process maps to find your critical KPIs. As you can see here, the New Jersey branch has marked the critical KPIs within their Excel dashboard, so we can easily translate that information over to the Qlik target file. Since critical KPIs should be looked at on a daily basis, we will want to put those into the target file. So what we can do is we can search down, either using Control Find or finding the critical KPIs. For example, New Jersey has designated that units per hour as well as SKUs recounted are critical KPIs in their business process and process maps. So they'll mark it as critical, like you see here. After they marked it in the Meetings tab, they'll bring it over to the Targets tab automatically. This is the best place to filter so you can see your targets and also input new targets. So as you can see in this meeting tabs, you can see the different meetings we thought of for you to track PIs and KPIs through Qlik. You can also see that required shows what the auditors and pillar owners have aligned on what we should look at on certain frequencies in certain meetings. For example, the majority of your SKPIs are in your daily KPI meeting. So the best thing to do to start is to filter by your criticals and requireds, taking out your blanks. This makes it much more manageable for you to look at when you want to input these targets. As you can see here to the right, you can see that we've inputted some targets into the file on a daily basis as well as on a weekly basis. One thing to remember is if you're looking at a daily meeting, make sure you only put targets on a daily basis for that. I completely remember when I was doing the warehouse weekly and I was adding targets in, I added the daily ones, which really I was only required to add the weeklies, so learn from that. Another cool thing is you can add VLOOKUPs or index matches from, let's say, your labor planning tool or other inputs. For example, I know some branches have variable targets based on how well they performed in the week. You can pull that straight from an Excel sheet, or you can make a query and bring it in at the bottom tabs. So for example, I actually added the New Jersey SKPIs budgets into here. What I can do then is add a VLOOKUP into percent undelivered and bring over that target for that month. So another thing I would suggest is when you're in the weekly meetings, taking out those blanks, looking at just your criticals and requireds, scrolling over to the week tab. Those are gray, and so you can see that you need to make sure that targets are filled in here. So the last tip I wanted to make sure I mentioned was it does take about an hour to an hour and a half to get the targets into Qlik. This file doesn't read every 5 minutes, so make sure you give it some time. I know you're super excited about the new targets that you put into this file, but give it some time, check back in an hour or so, and those targets should be there. And you should be able to navigate through those meetings, daily KPI, warehouse weekly, whatever you want to look at. Good luck.
Thanks, Hunter. Hope that better explains the routine and you can always refer back once you are doing the actual work. Now I'm going to show an example of Lima to better help you with the linkage concept. Under the Meeting tab of Lima's file, you can see they put down critical for their CDP percentage under the Daily KPI review. Correspondingly, if you go to their Daily KPI tab in Qlik, you should be seeing CDP percentage listed there. Lima has already put in their target numbers for week 34. So if I change the view to weekly in Qlik and scroll to see week 34, I should see their targets there as well as the actual performance. We've built in internal logic in Qlik for color display, and it is consistent that when you see red, there's a problem. There are a few questions you may have when using the Local KPI Dashboard. First, what if there's a lack of KPI or PI? In this case, you can go to the new KPI or PI submission template file under the template folder and fill out the related fields. We can see several good examples that Laura already established in the sheet. The DPO analytics team would see the request timely, and you can track the action status through this file. Another thing you may encounter is to change the required label, target granularity, or action frequency fields for an existing PI or KPI. For any branch KPI PI change request, you can go into the Excel file under the template folder and submit your request. You can follow the examples from Hunter. Your request will be accessible to the pillar owner, and you can also track the updates on the same sheet. Hope this video provides you with a general background for the Local KPI Dashboard, and will reach out for branch-specific questions. Thank you for watching.